Now, I love recommending hard sci-fi on this channel. It is genuinely one of my favorite things to do because it is such a specific niche kind of movie lover who gravitates toward his stuff, and I feel like we are all kind of the same person. So this video is for us. I'm talking 10 of the greatest hard sci-fi films of the 21st century so far. Films that respect your intelligence, films where the ideas are the spectacle. And today, every single movie I'm recommending is on Prime or Netflix right now. All the streaming links, exactly where to find each one, are in the first pinned comment below this video. Go check that out. We are starting right now.
How do you feel your day? What do you do?
First up, we've got what is probably one of the most impressive one-man filmmaking achievements I had ever come across. And I mean that literally. One guy wrote it, directed it, edited it, scored it, and starred in it. He shot most of it in his actual garage, on $7,000. Now you'd think that would sound like a limitation, and it absolutely is, but also somehow it is exactly what makes this film work. Because it is about two engineers who accidentally invent a time machine in their garage. And the film feels like you snuck in and you're watching it happen in real time. The dialogue comes fast, technical, overlapping, like these guys are not performing for you, they are just working, and you are barely keeping up. The time paradoxes in this thing are genuinely mind-bending. People have made flowcharts trying to track the timeline, and those flowcharts look like a conspiracy board exploded. It is intentionally dense, intentionally disorienting, and it is one of the most quietly brilliant sci-fi films ever made. If you like intellectual puzzles, if you like feeling like the smartest and dumbest person in the room at the exact same time, this one is for you. That film is Primer.
I have the location of a massive deposit of Orlac. The Queen's Lair.
Next up, we've got a sci-fi western, and I know that sounds like a weird pitch, but just stay with me here. This one is set on an alien planet, but the story it's telling is essentially a gold rush story. Dangerous territory, desperate people, a rare resource that everybody wants and almost nobody survives trying to extract. What makes this work is the world building, and I want to be specific, almost zero CGI. This thing was built with practical sets, costume design, real locations, and a kind of grimy, tactile atmosphere that makes the alien planet feel genuinely real, like a documentary about somewhere that doesn't exist. The performances carry so much of it. There's a guy in this who has since become extremely famous. You'll recognize him the second he shows up. And watching him here doing scrappy indie sci-fi with full commitment and total charisma is just fantastic. He plays this morally flexible prospector, and he brings a kind of swagger meets vulnerability to it that is honestly hard to look away from. Is the plot perfectly tight? Honestly, no. It meanders a little. But the world is so hypnotic, you don't really mind wandering around in it. If you like immersive, atmosphere-heavy sci-fi with a Western soul, that film is Prospect.
We have a payload to deliver to the heart of our nearest star. We're delivering that payload because that star...
Now we've got one that I genuinely cannot believe more people haven't seen, because this one is, in my opinion, one of the most visually stunning sci-fi films ever put to screen. The premise, the sun is dying, like actually dying, and the only solution humanity has is to fly 8 astronauts, scientists, crew, people barely keeping it together, directly toward it with a nuclear payload the size of Manhattan Island. And their job is to reignite it, or everyone on Earth dies. Now, some of you might be thinking, wait, didn't Project Hail Mary kind of deal with a similar thing? And yes, a little, but this movie is much darker, much more intense, and it goes to some places that are genuinely unexpected. There is a tone shift in the third act that a lot of people did not appreciate when this came out, and honestly, I think that tone shift is exactly what makes the movie exceptional.
So what's the actual damage? We don't know.
The cast is incredible, all playing professionals who are quietly falling apart under impossible pressure. And Danny Boyle directed it, which should not work for hard sci-fi and absolutely does. If you like Project Hail Mary and you want something with higher stakes, darker edges, and a slightly haunted feeling, I cannot recommend this enough. This next one is a big studio film, a major release, and some of you are gonna say, how is this on a greatest of list? Isn't it obvious? And yeah, it was huge when it came out, but I include it because of how genuinely smart it is, and how quickly people seem to have forgotten just how well constructed this thing is. The premise is pre-crime. Psychic humans floating in tanks, seeing murders before they happen, and a specialized police unit that arrests people for crimes they haven't committed yet. It's a philosophical wrecking ball of an idea, right? Can you punish intention? Is the future fixed? What is free will worth if a computer already knows your next move? And Spielberg wraps all of that inside one of the best chase thrillers of the 2000s. Every scene is doing two things at once. It's exciting and it's thinking. The technology shown in this film, gesture-controlled interfaces, personalized ads that know your name, surveillance drones, is eerily prescient in ways that should have made a lot of people uncomfortable. I'm not sure it did. Tom Cruise is at his best here. Samantha Morton as the precognitive Agatha is eerie and genuinely heartbreaking, based on a Philip K. Dick story, directed by Spielberg in full command mode. That film is Minority Report.
To be the human component in the Turing test.
One day the AIs are gonna look back on us.
Now this next one, this is a 3-character movie, remote location, glass and concrete bunker in the middle of nowhere, a genius tech billionaire, a young programmer, and a female humanoid AI named Ava, who may or may not be conscious, may or may not be manipulating everyone in the room, and is absolutely more interesting than any other character in the film. This is a chamber piece that feels like a thriller, a philosophical debate, and a slow-burn horror movie all layered on top of each other. And it is so precisely written that every single conversation has things in it you only catch on a rewatch. Oscar Isaac plays the creator, and he is, I'm gonna say, terrifying. Charismatic and brilliant, and deeply wrong in a way that creeps up on you.
Nathan, he isn't your friend. You're wrong.
Wrong about what?
Everything.
You don't notice how unsettled you are until suddenly you very much are. Alicia Vikander as Ava is otherworldly. She moves with this uncanny, precise grace that the visual effects render flawlessly. Her eyes alone could win an award. It also has genuinely sharp things to say about power and gender and how people build the world in their image. The ending is one of the most satisfying I've seen in modern sci-fi. If you haven't seen this one, I cannot recommend it enough. That film is Ex Machina. Before I get to my top 5, real quick, if you're finding value in this video, if you've already got a mental list going of what you want to watch first, drop a like on this video and hit subscribe. It genuinely helps the channel more than you know. Okay, top 5, let's go. Now this one, Far Side of the Moon. One guy, 3 years, completely alone, no internet, no visitors. The only company is an AI with a smiley face on a screen that tells you what you want to hear. Maybe. This is a movie about isolation and identity, about what happens to the self when there's nobody around to reflect it back to you. And Sam Rockwell gives one of the greatest performances in sci-fi history in this. I mean that without any exaggeration. He carries almost every scene with this exhausted, warm, slowly crumbling dignity that will quietly break your heart. The AI is voiced by Kevin Spacey, and it's designed as a gentler, more ambiguous HAL 9000. Helpful, calm, just uncertain enough to make you nervous. The production design of the lunar base is tactile and believable. The score by Clint Mansell is devastating in the best way. It is quiet, it is melancholy, and it is one of the most underrated films of the last 20 years, full stop. That film is Moon.
Come find me when you wake up!
Okay, my top 4 now, and these are just incredible. This next one takes a concept that sounds like a video game mechanic and turns it into one of the smartest action movies of the 21st century. Alien invasion, humanity losing badly. A desk job military PR guy, not a soldier, absolutely not a soldier, gets thrown into the bloodiest beach assault of the war and dies immediately. Then wakes up, has to do it again, and again, and again. Now what makes this work, and this is a thing people miss, is that the repetition earns its emotional payoff. Every loop teaches you something. Every reset adds weight. And by the end, you understand why characters make choices you couldn't have predicted at the start. And it is deeply satisfying in a way most action movies never get close to. Tom Cruise is genuinely fantastic here. His arc from spineless self-server to someone worth following is sold through real fear, real exhaustion, real earning of every step forward. Emily Blunt is ice cold and extraordinary as a soldier who knows exactly what he's going through. Their dynamic, built through shared suffering rather than manufactured romance, is more convincing than most movie love stories. Smart, funny, brutal, and wildly rewatchable. Based on a Japanese novel, that film is Edge of Tomorrow.
What do you want? I want to ask you some questions.
This next one, some of you are gonna say, how is this not number one? And look, I hear you. It is a masterpiece, legitimately. Los Angeles 2049. A Blade Runner. A cop who retires rogue artificial humans starts pulling on a thread that unravels something enormous. About replicants, about memory, about what it means to be real when everything you remember might have been manufactured. Denis Villeneuve directs this, and he does not hurry for anyone. The camera holds, the silence sits, and when it speaks through Roger Deakins cinematography that is so beautiful it should be illegal. Every single frame is a painting, not a pretty painting, a haunting one. Ryan Gosling gives a career best performance, underplaying everything so precisely that when something finally cracks open, it hits like a punch. Ana de Armas is heartbreaking, Sylvia Hoeks is ferocious, and Harrison Ford shows up and reminds you exactly why we love Deckard in the first place. The questions this film raises about memory, identity, what qualifies as real, don't have clean answers. That is not a flaw. That is the whole point. You're supposed to sit with them. One of the best sci-fi films ever made. That film is Blade Runner 2049.
The end of House Atreides. My father didn't believe it.
Now my number 2 pick, this is a massive, massive film. One of the biggest sci-fi productions of the last decade, and some of you have definitely already seen it. But I am putting it here because it is, in my opinion, the most ambitious and successful big-budget sci-fi film of this decade so far, and it deserves to be talked about in that exact context. Arrakis, the desert. The spice, the prophecy Paul Atreides never asked for and cannot escape, and the slow, terrifying, morally complicated moment when a reluctant chosen one stops resisting and becomes exactly what the story has been building toward. What elevates this beyond spectacle, and there is extraordinary spectacle here, is that the film is genuinely critical of the thing it's depicting. The messianic narrative, the charisma that becomes fanaticism, the way salvation and destruction wear the same face. These are ideas that land with real weight right now.
Nothing fancy.
I understand.
The cinematography shifts language depending on which world you're in. Fremen scenes, warm, earthy, textured. Harkonnen sequences, stark black and white, almost fascist in their aesthetic. Hans Zimmer's score is tectonic. Timothée Chalamet's transformation across these two films is one of the best pieces of gradual character work in modern blockbuster cinema. Staggering, thrilling, important. That film is Dune Part 2.
You're a well-educated man, Coop, and a trained pilot.
And an engineer.
My number 1 pick, my strongest recommendation on this entire list. A dying Earth, a desperate mission, a father leaving his daughter with a promise, and the unbearable physics of time working against him in ways she won't fully understand until it's too late. Across black holes, across dimensions, across years that pass differently depending on where in the universe you happen to be standing. This is a movie about love as a force of nature, about the specific, quiet horror of time, not having enough of it, losing it, watching it betray you even when you do everything right. Christopher Nolan directing at his most emotionally exposed, swinging wider than most filmmakers dare to, and landing the majority of it in ways that are genuinely astonishing. Matthew McConaughey has never been better. His farewell scene with his daughter early in the film is one of the most tenderly shot, emotionally devastating pieces of cinema of the last 20 years. And when the physics of the story come back to collect that debt later, bring something to squeeze. You will need it. Is it a perfect movie? No. The exposition is heavy in places. Some characters are basically walking lectures, but the scale of feeling in this film, the genuine ache of it, the visual audacity of sequences that should not work and absolutely do, it earns those flaws 10 times over. Watch it on the biggest screen you have. Watch it with someone you love. That film is Interstellar. And hey, next video, we are going full revenge mode. 10 movies, real, messy, morally complicated, deeply satisfying revenge cinema. And half of them are hidden gems most people have completely slept on. You do not want to miss that one. Watch it next. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.